Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Amir here with Mendon Fitness Studio. I'm not at the studio right now. Obviously, I'm at home. It's a Sunday morning. I don't work every day, man, believe it or not. But real quick, I want to talk about this hat really quick. I'll put a link in the description. Check out my man's website. Got some really awesome clothes, some very inspirational clothes. You know, it's for life, living life in full existence, which I totally agree with. Definitely one of my mottos, man. Live life to the fullest, right? So I got that out of the way. So I'll put that link in the description. So I want to talk real quick about a couple things about like strength, or developing more strength, or super strength, whatever that is. Honestly, in my opinion, anything above the strength level that you can express right now, that's going to be super, because you know the word super means above or beyond. You can correct me on that in the comments, but it means more than what you can do right now. So one thing that a lot of people seem to talk about, like for some reason, man, people are just obsessed with being as strong as a gorilla. I'm like, you know, that's cool, man. And you know, honestly, you know, when I was younger, I was like, man, I wish I had that gorilla strength, you know. And as I got more into training, I started to train more myself, train other people more. You know, the more I train, the more I realize that strength is up here for many reasons. The ability to express your full strength comes from having thoughts that allow you to express that strength, and then erasing those thoughts that prevent you from developing or displaying that strength. You know, there's other factors too, like you won't be. Some people are naturally stronger than other people, but you know, you're not going to be as strong as a gorilla. One, because you're not a gorilla, and then two, you're not living with gorillas, so you didn't start as a baby chimp and, you know, progress and grow with gorillas, man. So you're not going to be as strong as a gorilla. There's not too many people that's gonna be like as fast as a cheetah. Usain Bolt is pretty fast. Like, you know, obviously the strongest people in the world and the fastest people in the world, they're pretty strong. So if you want to emulate someone, emulate more realistic models, man. Emulate, you know, like if you want to be like Brian Shaw, or I don't know who the world's strongest is right now, but Brian Shaw just comes to mind, man, because I like him. Seems like a cool guy. Brian Shaw. If you're watching this, man, I'm gonna need you in a couple weeks, man. I'm training for a meet. Come at me, man. I'd love to meet you and work with you, brother. But yeah, and if you want to be like Usain Bolt, sure, natural talent and genetics come into play to help you develop, you know, super strength. So you have to take those into consideration. So you have to work. Well, for one, you have to start with your strong point. So whatever your body is naturally proficient at displaying strength at or within, start with that and increase that. You know, don't waste time trying to develop something, you know, where that time could be better put into increasing your current strong point. Come back to the points that need to be worked. Come back to the areas of improvement, but start with your areas of strength right now. And another reason why, like, you know, is, again, you shouldn't be trying to compare yourself to no gorillas, man, because gorillas, they eat meat, but they don't eat as much meat as we do. So there's some performance benefits for being being on a vegan diet, like being on a plant-based diet. Because I don't eat, you know, people will watch these documentaries and they see like chimps just sucking on a leaf, branch that got like 4 leaves on it, man, and they think that's all they eat. Hell nah. You know how many pounds of greens some animals eat? Man, they eat like, damn, they probably eat maybe, again, if I'm wrong, correct me. Man, I think I was watching a documentary, they eat like 5 to 10 pounds of greens a day or something like that. And they do eat meat because, you know, obviously in these documentaries you see them beating up other monkeys and stuff and eating them. So, you know, violence is in all kingdoms. But anyway, you know, another reason why animals in general are just so damn stronger than human beings is that fight or flight reflex, man. So think of the fight or flight reflex as, that's a built-in battery that God gave us. That's an emergency battery that God gave us Some people call it chi. You can call, if you're like a martial artist, you call it chi. You know, again, if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm open to corrections. You know, this is just my understanding of it. But if you take that, if you take that battery, you take that big old life or death battery, and you run that current through a frame like a human frame, yeah, you're gonna see some amazing results, man. You're gonna see, you know, like people, they say that people have lifted cars off their babies and stuff like that. You're gonna see that sort of stuff. But you take that current and you run it through the neurology of a cheetah or a gorilla or an elephant. Oh my God, man! That's when you see people. You know, you hear these stories about these little baby chimps that, you know, they rip people's fingers off and stuff like that, because, you know, they got so many things working in their favor. For one, they got the vegan diet, so they're not really eating meat, which is not causing them to produce so much ammonia. So they have more endurance just based on that. And then you got to think too, they do a lot of body weight stuff. And then if you're someone that, if you can do a pull-up, if you're watching this and you can do a pull-up, you remember how hard it was when you started to first do pull-ups? Like, I remember when I first started trying to do pull-ups, man, it was so hard. Like, but I stayed in that garage, so I got the first one, then I got the second one. Now I can bust out reps, and then now I can add weighted vests and stuff like that because I consistently train. So if you take that example and overlay that on the example of like an animal, you know, like an elephant, man, they walking around with all that body weight, so that's constant body weight training right there. So of course they're gonna be stronger than a human, but, you know, like, I digress. But what I'm trying to say is, if you want to develop super strength, look to the living. I'm assuming you're a human if you're watching this. You gotta be, or if you're a smart dog, wolf dog. But yeah, look to the current examples of the physical traits that you want to emulate, and then build a training program based on this reality. Not like, don't try to train like a monkey, man. I mean, I'm not saying that there's not people out there that don't have like gorilla like strength. You know, obviously we've seen people that can deadlift, you know, like Brian Shaw deadlifting over 1,000 pounds. But that's a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight, man. That's like half of a small car right there, or a little bit less than half. But, you know, yeah, follow human examples, man. So go out there, do your research, find out, you know, okay, I just keep saying Usain Bolt and Brian Shaw because like they're the two, in my mind, those are the two epitomes of speed and power right now, you know. So, you know, find out how Usain Bolt trains. Essentially, if you want success in an area, you just do what you do what people have done before. You don't take their exact steps, but you model them in far as, like, you know, actions that they do. So if such and such is eating this much, you know, you might want to eat that much, especially if you're going to be training heavy, you know. Hey, it's turned into a 9-minute video. Damn. All right. So let me sum it up real quick, man. Oh, I didn't even talk fight or flight. So fight or flight, that's where strength comes from. So again, like I said, fight or flight, that reflex, that's like a battery. Essentially, that's your adrenaline kicking in, man. You know, turning off your stomach, making your vision narrow, pumping through your veins. You know, when that fight or flight kicks in. Another thing, when that fight or flight kicks in, all the blood, 95% of the blood drains from your forehead. It goes into your body to prepare you to fight, right? So from that vantage point, you can easily see how, like, you ever heard the term hysterical strength? So essentially what that means is that, like a crazy person, if you're dealing with someone that's like really crazy, they out of their mind at the moment, you're gonna have a hard time restraining them, man, just because their fight or flight is kicked in and they're essentially electrified, man. Like, you hear stories about people that's been in the electric chair, man, and like they tense it so hard, like their bones is, like, you know, their bones snap inside, man, because the electric current from the outside is charging up the muscles so much that, you know, they just can't control it, man. So that's going back to what I said about your thoughts limiting your strength as well. So yeah, you can be as strong as you want, but you probably ain't gonna be as strong as a monkey that can rip people's fingers off. So like I said, man, best bet is to pick a human role model for speed, strength, agility, etc. Pick one of them role models and then model them. Model their actions as much as you can. You know, obviously, some of these guys have access to, you know, Olympic level training facilities and stuff like that. But then again, where there's a will, there's a way. So if you really want to develop that strength, you know, you'll go out, you'll make that equipment. Like, there was a guy, they call him like the strongest man in the world. I don't know if that record still stands, whether officially or unofficially, but this dude, you know, he was so serious. He was a natural. He had like natural strength. I'll talk about natural strength in a later video. This one's running long, but he had natural strength, and he decided that he wanted to become the strongest man in the world. So, you know, this is a farm boy. He just used his handiness, know-how. He built his own equipment, man, and he broke a lot of records. Paul Anderson, look him up. I'll put a description in the link in I'll put a link in the description below so you can do some research on him. But Paul Anderson, he was one of those greats, man. He's a powerful dude. So, but let me sum it up for real this time. So, keys to developing super strength are to pick a realistic goal, pick a realistic model to follow, find a way to eliminate those thoughts specifically around strength. So, you know, look at your current beliefs about how strong you are. Eliminate the ones that limit you, because any little thought that you erase that's negative, that brings in more room for positive thoughts, right? So eliminate those negative beliefs around your strength. You know, eat appropriately for the physical adaptations. That's 3. Eat appropriately for the physical adaptations that you want to obtain. Make sure you're getting plenty of rest, water, etc., taking care of your body. All right, and then at the end of the day, too, 5, man, really make sure that is what you want. You know, because that desire in itself is a battery, man. That desire is a battery. Again, God gave you that. God gave us with a lot. He gave us a lot of gifts that people don't really realize that He gave us, man. We take for granted, you know. So desire, that's a gift He gave us. So you got to look at your desire. Do you really want to be the strongest man in the world, or the fastest man in the world, or woman in the world? Then, if you really want it, then let that desire permeate your being, man. Let it like fill up your whole spirit and go for it, guys. All right. So thank you so much for sitting with me. Hopefully you're still awake. Don't be one of them people that watch the video, fall asleep the first 2 minutes, and wake up like at 12, like, oh man, that was great. I heard every word you said, dog. All right. Don't be one of them people. All right, guys. Peace. God bless. Love you guys. Stay tuned. Rate, comment, subscribe.